Welcome to 70s Unheard on Radio KCM, where we unravel the hidden gems and sonic treasures of the 70s with stories and songs tied to the greatest single decade in the history of popular music. I'm Jeff Gerkins. Let's open today with REO Speedwagon, Midwestern rockers who eventually became purveyors of multiple suitable 80s prom themes. I remember my buddy Mark coming home from a concert wearing an REO Speedwagon t-shirt and his mom commenting, "Speedwagon? Is that some sort of drug reference?" Well, the band's name is actually a reference to a historic truck manufactured by the Rio Motor Car Company. The Rio and the name are the initials of the company's founder, Ransom Eli Olds, who also founded Oldsmobile. For an unexplained reason, the band chose to pronounce Rio as R-E-O. From their 1978 album, You Can Tune a Piano, but You Can't Tune a Fish. Here's REO Speedwagon with Say You Love Me or Say Goodnight.
There's no love lying in the light of the night. So say you love me or say goodnight. There is no use of hanging on a memory. No good of living a lie. Hey baby, I got no use for mediocrity. You know tonight's the night we need to do it or die. So say you love me or say goodnight. Say we made up our own with the fight, but there's no love lying in the light of the night. So say you love me or say goodnight. There's no love lying in the light of the night. So say you love me or say goodnight. Say you love me or say goodnight. Say we made up our own with the fight. 'Cause there's no love lying in the light of the night. So say you love me or say goodnight. Say goodnight. Say goodnight. Say goodnight. Oh, say goodnight.
inside her head gets switched to overload. And nobody's gonna go to school today. She's gonna make them stay at home. Daddy doesn't understand it. He always said she was good as gold. And he can see no reasons, cause there are no reasons. What reason do you need to be shown? Tell me why I don't like Mondays. Tell me why I don't like Mondays. Tell me why I don't like Mondays. I wanna shoot the whole day down. Telex machine is kept so clean and it types to a waging world. A mother feels so shocked, father's world is rocked, and their thoughts turn to their own little girl. Sweet 16 ain't that peachy keen, now it ain't so neat to admit defeat. They can see no reasons, cause there are no reasons. What reasons do you need? Tell me why I don't like Mondays. Tell me why I don't like Mondays. Tell me why I don't like Mondays. I wanna shoot the whole day down, down, down. Shoot it on down. And now the playing stopped in the playground now. She wants to play with the toys a while. And school's out early and soon we be learning. And the lesson today is how to die. And then the bullhorn crackles and the captain tackles with the problems in the house and wife. And he can see no reasons, cause there are no reasons. What reason do you need to die? Die, oh, and the silicon chip inside her head gets switched to overload. Oh, and nobody's gonna go to school today. She's gonna make them stay at home. And daddy doesn't understand it. He always said she was good as gold. And he can see no reasons, cause there are no reasons. What reason do you need to be shown? Tell me why I don't like Mondays. Tell me why I don't like Mondays. Tell me why I don't like Tell me why I don't like Mondays. Tell me why I don't like Tell me why I don't like Mondays. Tell me why I don't like.
And from the 1979 album, The Fine Art of Surfacing, that was Bob Geldof and his Boomtown Rats with I Don't Like Mondays, a song inspired by a tragic 1979 school shooting in San Diego, California, where Brenda Ann Spencer fired upon children and adults at an elementary school. When asked for a reason for her actions, Spencer famously stated, I don't like Mondays. This quote deeply affected Bob Geldof. He wrote the song after reading about the event. And sadly, we have to still read of these events occurring still today. Bob Geldof in the early 80s became better known for starring as Pink in Pink Floyd's 1982 film version of the movie The Wall. As a fundraiser, Geldof also gained worldwide recognition for organizing the charity supergroup Band-Aid, for organizing Live Aid, and for co-writing Do They Know It's Christmas? This is 70s Unheard on Radio KCM, where B-sides are my A-game. You know, sometimes in high school, athletic and musical involvement allows us the opportunity to see and go places far from home, and perhaps before we are really ready to venture. As a freshman, as part of the high school band, a large group of us took buses to Toronto for some form of music competition. Little from that trip stays with me today, except for this part. On the last night of that trip, a few of us were in our room in a downtown Toronto high-rise hotel discussing appropriate souvenirs to bring home to remind us of our trip to Canada. One guy piped up, "Hey, I'd really like to have one of those Canadian license plates, the ones with the maple leaf in the center." Another guy piped up and said, "Hey, there's a parking lot full of them right downstairs." So we all took coins out of our pockets to use as screwdrivers, walked down to the parking lot, and each helped ourselves to a genuine Canadian license plate to pitch into our bags for our return trip home. Perfect. And they were free. Well, the return home was not to be. For at 6 a.m., we arose to a harsh knocking at our hotel room door. Before we could answer, it was flung open by 3 Canadian investigative officers with stern looks and aggressive demeanors. They didn't play around, saying, "We know you have them, and we will empty every bag in this room until we find them." It didn't take long for us to acquiesce and retrieve the contraband. But that wasn't enough. The officers led us to their Canadian squad car, where they crammed all 4 of us into the back seat. We were all pretty scared and quiet, except Scott, who had lived in Germany. He had older brothers and a dad who had been in the military, so we all assumed he was worldly. In the back seat of the squad car, Scott confidently reared back, crossed his arms, and said, "Don't worry, boys. They're just giving us a ride around the block trying to scare us." Unfortunately, that did not turn out to be the case. When they made their first stop, they asked each one of us our age. I was only 14, and none of the other passengers were quite that young. Therefore, I was taken to a totally different detention facility for juveniles. I watched the 3 remaining subjects right away while they took me to a small, maybe 8-foot cinder block room with a wooden door and a small window in the upper center. I sat there what seemed like for hours before an investigative officer came to the room. He asked for identifying information, my name, address, etc. Finally, I piped up. "Sir, what do you think is going to happen to us?" I asked. "Son," he said, "in Canada, the ownership of a license plate is the equivalent to the ownership of the car. What you have done, young man, is considered a felony in our country. I'm thinking you're looking at 6 months to 2 years. Go." He left, and I sat there for what once again felt like hours before his return, saying, "Son, it's your lucky day. We have been in contact with your high school principal, and they have agreed to deliver appropriate punishment upon your return home." What I haven't yet mentioned is that there were 3 busloads of high school students stuck waiting to start the drive back from Toronto to Kentucky until our release. Needless to say, the 4 of us were not the most popular members of that bus tour. By the time we arrived home, I think the story had grown. The stories going around were that we mugged an elderly lady or that we robbed a local jewelry store or something like that. As is normal in a small town, my parents were the last to know. And when I walked off the bus, finally home, I assumed the news had reached them as well, but sadly not. I had to inform them of the details upon our arrival. I can't remember how we served our punishment, but I guess it was effective. One additional form of punishment came when I asked a local girl to the prom a couple of years later. She originally said yes, but upon consultation with her father, the next day at school, she said, "I'm sorry, my dad says I can't go." I replied, "No to the prom? Sounds like a pretty tough dad." Then she said, "Well, I can go to the prom, just not with you." Well, that's another lesson learned. Well, some 35 years later, I got my revenge when my daughter moved to Canada and one day was visiting an antique shop when there it was, for sale, a pristine, authentic 1978 Canadian license plate, which she promptly purchased and gave me for Christmas. Take that, Canada. USA! I finally had my plate, and it's still proudly on display in my office. So, to Scott, Jeff, Ben, and David, I forgive you for snaring this poor, impressionable young teen into your sinister web of criminal activity. And in tribute to everyone who had to wait on those buses in Toronto, to all of the parents whose pickup of their precious students was delayed, to Principal Wilson, who secured our release, to Scott, Jeff, Ben, and David, my partners in crime, I am choosing to play from the 1978 month of that fateful trip, a Canadian artist, Nick Gilder. Hot child in the city of Toronto, that is. And while we were definitely not hot, We were certainly children, or at least I was. I was the only one that went to juvie.
Something wild. Stranger dressed in black, she's a hungry child. No one knows who she is or what her name is. I don't know where she came from or what her game is. Hot child in the city. Hot child in the city. Running wild and looking pretty. Hot child in the city. So young to be loose and on her own. Young boys, they all want to take her home. She goes downtown, the boys all stop and stare. When she comes downtown, she walks like she just don't care. Yeah. Hot child in the city. Hot child in the city. Running wild and looking pretty. Yeah. Hot child in the city. Come on down to my place, baby. We'll talk about love. Come on down to my place, woman. We'll make love. Hot child in the city. Hot child in the city. She's kind of dangerous. Hot child in the city. A young child. Running wild and looking pretty. Young child. Running wild. Hot child in the city. 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 Oh. Hot child.
Hush now, child, and don't cry. Your folks might understand you by and by. Just move on up toward your destination. Though you may find from time to time complication. Bite your lip and take the trip. Though there may be wet road ahead and you cannot slip, just move on up for peace you'll find. Into the steeple of beautiful people where there's only one kind. So hush now, child, and don't cry. Your folks might understand you by and by. Move on up and keep on wishing take nothing less than the supreme best. Do not obey, you must be forsake, but you can pass the test. Just move on up to a greater day. With just a little faith, if you put your mind to it, you can surely do it.
I love those tight, syncopated horns, strings, and lively bongos. From 1970, that was Curtis Mayfield and Move On Up from my favorite album of his first solo album, Curtis. Curtis Mayfield began his career with the Impressions, producing many 60s hits, including the civil rights era anthems like People Get Ready and Keep On Pushing. In the 70s, he was best known for producing the soundtrack to the movie Superfly. Mayfield's life took a terrible turn following a 1990 concert stage collapse accident that left him a quadriplegic. Afterward, Curtis became a recluse for many years, but eventually found that if he lay on his back and let gravity pull his chest down, it allowed him to sing. So that's how he recorded his last album in 1991, laying on his back with a suspended microphone hanging above him. I'm Jeff Gerkins, and you're listening to 70s Unheard, a lost treasure trove of sonic gems from the 70s. In Nashville, there is a legendary street between 3rd and 4th Avenues, from Union Street to Commerce, Printer's Alley. In the 80s, when I first moved to Nashville, it was a place where no one was encouraged to go, as it was filled with seedy venues, panhandlers, and trouble, or so I was told. Today, I'm fortunate enough to pass through Printer's Alley on a regular basis with my daughter, Sarah, after attending shows at the Ryman Auditorium, not far from her apartment. Printer's Alley has now been revived with a hotel overlooking the alley, spots for dinner, live music, and our favorite hot dog stand, Daddy Dogs. That's where we often grab a late-night dog to tide us over on our walk home after shows at the Ryman. But before that, in the mid-70s, apparently Printer's Alley was the place to be, as it was immortalized in a song by Paul McCartney. In 1974, fresh off his biggest critical and sales successes with the album Band on the Run, Paul McCartney felt compelled to continue that success by releasing a single to keep his name on the charts while he and his band Wings composed their next album. Looking for inspiration, they were invited to spend time on a farm in Lebanon, Tennessee, just outside of Nashville, a place where countless other rock acts, starting with Bob Dylan, went to work with the Country Pickers in the state-of-the-art Nashville recording studios. Country songwriter Curly Putnam rented his country estate for that summer of 74 to the McCartneys and the members of Wings. McCartney intended to use this time to rehearse with his band and hoping to put out a single into the pipeline so they could strike while the momentum of Band on the Run still lingered. They recorded several tracks during that summer in Nashville. One of those tracks was Junior's Farm, written about Curly's Tennessee farm, released as a single in October of 74. The single's B-side, also influenced by his time in Nashville, represented a stylistic turn for Paul. One night, McCartney and his entourage were led through a section of honky-tonks in Printer's Alley that led to some inspiration, as McCartney described in his autobiography. When I'm in a new place, it's not uncommon for me to want to write about where I am. Being in Nashville, I wanted to record with a couple of local guys. I never worked with a Nashville steel guitar player, and I needed a bit of material. This bloke took us out to Printer's Alley, which is a little club district. There were people playing country music, and it's there we imagined the subject for Sally G. Those local guys who joined McCartney for that recording were pedal steel player Lloyd Green, noted for his session work in Nashville, performing on 116 #1 country hits; violinist Johnny Gimble, a member of the legendary Texas swing band Bob Wills' Texas Playboys. Johnny was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 1999. And lastly, the legendary founder of Western Swing and leader of the Texas Playboys, Bob Wills. In the song, McCartney describes Tennessee as being somewhere to the south of New York City, and thus begins a tale about a guy who falls in love for a country singer, only to be left behind in the end, the story in so many country songs. The single Junior's Farm with the B-side Sally G became a double-sided hit, reaching number 3 on the charts in the fall of '74. I'll dedicate this one to my daughter Sarah and our walks through Printer's Alley for daddy dogs after nights at the Ryman. Here's Paul McCartney with Sally G from 1974.
Somewhere to the south of New York City lies the friendly state of Tennessee. Down in Nashville town I met a pretty who made a pretty big fool out of me. And they call her Sally, Sally G. Why do you want to do the things you do to me? You're my Sally, Sally G. You took the part that was the heart of me, Sally G. The nightlife took me down to Printer's Alley, where Sally sang a song behind the bar. I ran my eyes across her as she sang a tangled mind. I used to love to hear her sweet guitar. And they called her Sally, Sally G. Why do you want to do the things you do to me? You're my Sally, Sally G. You took the part that was the heart of me, Sally G. Me and Sally took up, things began to look up. Me and her were going strong. Then she started lying. I could see our love was dying. I heard a voice say, move along, move along. Well, now I'm on my own again. I wonder if she ever really understood. I never thought to ask her what the letter G stood for, but I know for sure it wasn't good. And they call her Sally, Sally G. Why do you want to do the things you do to me? You're my Sally, Sally G. You took the part that was the heart of me, Sally G. Take it, chaps. Sally G. Yeah, Sally G.
Paul McCartney on Radio KCM. Unfortunately, this is becoming a weekly topic, but we have lost another member of a remarkable 70s act. Supertramp co-founder, singer, and keyboardist Rick Davies died last Saturday at the age of 81 after a 10-year battle with multiple myeloma. Davis was the only constant member of Supertramp, which formed in 1970. He wrote and sang many of their most popular songs, including the logical song, Goodbye Stranger, and this one from my favorite of their albums, and a song I've often used to evaluate the quality of a stereo system's sound. From the 1974 album Crime of the Century, here's the late Ray Davies and Supertramp with Bloody Well Right.
bloody well right. You got a bloody right to say, right. You're bloody well right. You know you got a right to say, you're bloody well right. You know you're right to say, yeah, yeah, you're bloody well right. You know you're right to say, me, I don't care anyway. Write your problems down in detail. Take them to a higher place. You had your girl, I know I shouldn't say where. In the meantime, hush your face. Right, quite right. You're bloody well right. You got a bloody right to say, right. You're bloody well right. You know you got a right to say, you're bloody well right. You know you're right to say, yeah, yeah, you're bloody well right. You know you got a right to say, you got a bloody right to say, you got a bloody right to say.
Digging through the dusty record bins for your musical pleasure, this is 70s Unheard. A shout out this week to Sarah, Joel, and Ben, listeners from the University of North Texas Music Department. Located in Denton, Texas, near Dallas, North Texas alumni include Dr. Phil, author Ann Rice, and wrestler Stone Cold Steve Austin. But the music program at the University of North Texas has a stellar history with alumni such as Don Henley, Nora Jones, Meatloaf, and dozens of respected and well-known jazz artists, their musical claim to fame. In fact, this Saturday at UNT's Dat Coos Stadium, alumni Tom Bones Malone will be performing with the Green Brigade at halftime during their football game versus Washington State. If you live anywhere near North Texas, it's a must-see. Do you remember trombonist Tom Bones Malone? Well, I'm about to remind you. Malone's was part of the horn section for the Blues Brothers on their records and in the Blues Brothers movie. He has played on hundreds of jazz and pop albums, including albums by Blood, Sweat, and Tears, George Benson, The Band, Frank Zappa, and the band Spyro Gyra. He was also a longtime member of Paul Schaefer's CBS Orchestra for David Letterman in the early 90s. So, in tribute to the proud music history of the University of North Texas, to Sarah, Joel, and Ben, here's the late SNL star John Belushi introducing the Blues Brothers horn section, including UNT alumni Tom Bones Malone from the 1978 monster hit album Briefcase Full of Blues, a song with a fantastic horn break. Here are the Blues Brothers with Almost.
I'd like to introduce the horn section. On the saxophone, Tom Scott from the LA Express. Tom Scott. On sax, a good friend from New York City, also from Texas, Mr. Tom Bones Malone. Tom Malone. And also from New York City, Mr. Fabulous himself, Alan Rubin. Come on! Alan Rubin! And on sax, Lou Marini. Lou Marini. This next song is going to feature the horn section. It's a song by Down Child Blues Band called Almost. I got everything I need. Almost. I got everything I need. Almost. But I don't got you. And you're the thing I need the most. I got a car that I bought. Won't get me far. Got a wish on a star. Tell me, Mom, I got everything I need. Almost. I got everything I need. Almost. But I don't got you. And you're the thing I need the most. I got friends who like me 'cause I got lots of dough. The people
Blues Brothers on 70s Unheard on Radio KCM. Jimmy Fallon's debut as the host of The Tonight Show took place on February 17th of 2014, marking a new era, with Fallon taking over from Jay Leno, with guests including Will Smith and U2. But before that debut, Jimmy Fallon kicked off his final episode of Late Night with a performance of one of my favorite Bob Dylan songs, with none other than Louisiana's own Buckwheat Zydeco. Backed by Jimmy's band, The Roots, they performed Bob Dylan's On a Night Like This, fitting for Fallon's last night on Late Night before taking over The Tonight Show. We'll begin with a bit of Fallon's performance from his final night hosting the Late Night 11 years ago, and then transition to the original, my favorite, from Bob Dylan's 74 album, Planet Waves. First Jimmy, and then Bob. Here's Jimmy Fallon.
On a night like this, I'm so glad you came around. Hold on to me so tight. Don't talk to me. And heat up the coffee ground. We got so much to talk about, so much to reminisce. And it sure feels right on a night like this. Well, on a night like this, I'm so glad you're here to stay. Hold on to me, pretty miss. Say you never go away astray. Run your fingers down my spine. Bring me a touch of bliss. So feel right on a night like this.
On a night like this, I'm so glad you came around. Hold on to me so tight and heat up some coffee ground. We got much to talk about and much to reminisce. It sure is right on a night like this. On a night like this, I'm so glad you're here to stay. Hold on to me, pretty miss, and say you'll never go away too straight. Run your fingers down my spine and bring me a touch of bliss. It sure feels right on a night like this. On a night like this, I can't get any sleep. The air is so cold outside and the snow is so deep. Build a fire, throw on logs, and listen to it hiss, and let it burn, 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 burn on a night like this. Put your body next to mine and keep me company. There is plenty of room for us, so please don't elbow me. Let the four winds blow. If I'm not too far off, I think we did this once before. There's more frost on the window glass with each new tender kiss, and it sure feels right on a night like this.
And that was British boogie blues slide guitar masters Foghat with the title track from their 1975 album that made them stars and produced their biggest hit, Slow Ride, a single that I bought when I was 12 years old, Fool for the City. In 1974, Foghat moved from England to the U.S., to Bearsville Records, just outside of Woodstock, New York, to record that album. When I was there hiking just a couple of years, I had to stop by to see those recording studios. You're listening to 70s Unheard with songs so obscure, even the artists forgot they wrote them. A precursor to acts like Tracy Chapman, Dave Matthews, and Melissa Etheridge, Joan Armatrading is a British singer and songwriter with an independent spirit and an eclectic sound who embraced folk, rock, and blues. From her 1976 self-titled debut album, this is Joan Armatrading with Like Fire.
I'm trembling. You got the touch. I'm under. And you got the power. When I feel your body next to mine, I know everything is gonna be alright. Hey, I'm trembling. I'm all on edge. I'm under. And you got the power. You can be fire. Oh, sugar sweet, like honey, when you wanna be. Hey, I'm trembling, and you got the touch. When I hear you call my name, brings me the feeling that I love so much. You can be fire. Sugar sweet, like honey, when you wanna be. When you're around me, it's like the sun up above. You may be fooling, but I'm deep. I'll only leave if you leave me. I'm walking, I'm in the air. Who needs money to ease the care? All it takes is just one kiss will buy off a million tears. I'm walking, I'm in the air. You can be fire, or sugar sweet like honey, when you wanna be.
I wanna live
And that was British Boogie Blues Slide. No, that wasn't. That was actually gritty British combo. Dr. Feelgood, a fixture on the 70s pub rock scene and an influence on the punk movement with a song called Going Back Home from 1975. This is 70s Unheard on Radio KCM. I spent last weekend celebrating the birthday of a guy who has been responsible for many of the happiest, funniest, and best days of my life. Captain George. For over 35 years now, he has been one of my closest friends. Things I learned from George are spontaneity, living for the moment, and dying with no regrets. For 25 years, we have been traveling to the Gulf of Mexico several times a year, kayaking, moving to sailing kayaks, and eventually moving to his sailboat, where the real adventures began. I happily served as Gilligan to his skipper on dozens of trips to the Gulf Coast. There's no truer friend. George is giving almost to a fault. He's been there for me, and hopefully I for him through our highs and lows of our careers, families, and our health. And he's probably responsible for my interest in doing this show. I really hadn't re-listened to 70s music for years until our days on the Gulf. For some reason, much of those 70s classics played through those sailboat speakers on the water fits perfectly. And don't get me started about his influence on my interest in vintage vinyl and stereo system. With a rotating cast that includes Scott, Mark, and James sailing in Mobile Bay, camping in the dry Tortugas, days spent in Key West, making friends with a little fella named Slappy. The worst bout of seasickness I've ever experienced while caught in a storm off Pensacola Bay. The stories I could tell. And I hope there are many more to come. Here's to those days and nights on the water with wind in our hair and water in our shoes, as the song says. Here's an artist that I'll always associate with George, Jimmy Buffett. So in tribute to those types of moments that are shared by few, this one's for you. Happy birthday, George. From 1977, here's Jimmy Buffett.
Drink it up. This one's for you. It's been a lovely cruise. I'm sorry it's ending. Oh, it's sad, but it's true. Honey, it's been a lovely cruise.
And that does it for 70s Unheard. I'm Jeff Gerkins. Catch me every Wednesday at 11 here on Radio KCM. You can follow me on Twitter or X at 70s Unheard. Email your questions, suggestions, critiques, and compliments and opinions to 70sunheard at gmail.com. Spelled with no spaces, apostrophes, or cap. Until next time.